who had their car broken into, and
Yes, the radio.
and the expectations of good outcomes.
Yes.
And so the series of events allowed me to practice that.
Oh, all right. Congratulations for creating a practice schedule for yourself.
So I was expecting good outcomes.
And you did get them unless you identified or defined them as otherwise.
I did get them. My
All right.
schedule ended up being very different, but even better than I had originally expected.
Congratulations.
Thank
Because
you.
that's what happens when you release your need to have them happen in a certain way, is they often happen much better than you imagined.
So my question is,
Yes.
by practicing this over and over,
Yes.
will I continue to have episodes like this?
Why wouldn't you? Can you answer that question? Why wouldn't you?
Because the benefit is in the experience?
Because the benefit comes from your definition. So the question is, why would you define anything that happens in any other way other than beneficial so that you can experience the beneficial effect from it?
Okay.
So it's your choice, isn't it?
Yes.
So why would you choose anything else? A lot of the answers to all of your questions really comes down to having no other choice but the positive one. There just isn't any other choice for you. Therefore, why would you experience anything other than what is relevant for the choice that you made? You can't. You cannot experience what you're not the vibration of. So if you're constantly choosing the positive state, it's not possible for you to have any kind of a negative experience, or have an experience, more precisely, that you perceive as unfolding in a negative way. Because the experience can look the same. Because everything is neutral. It doesn't have built-in meaning. It does double duty. If you define it negatively, you will get a negative effect. If you define the very same thing positively, you will get a positive effect. That's how it works. What you put out is what you get back. So why choose anything but what you prefer to define it as? Even if you don't know the details of how it's going to serve you in a positive way, you can still know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's going to serve you in a positive way, and therefore that's what you will experience, even if the experience is completely unexpected in form. It will still be positive because you said so. There is nothing in creation that will ever contradict you. You're the one who decides. You're the one who has been given the freedom to choose. And the universe says, I'll back you, whatever you say, because I support you unconditionally. Even to the degree that you choose to believe you are not unconditionally supported, I will support you in that belief too. That's how unconditionally supported you are. So the proof that you are supported unconditionally is that you're able to experience reality as if you're not supported unconditionally, because you're being supported in a negative belief that you're not supported. Therefore, if you're supported in the negative belief that you're not supported, why wouldn't you be supported in the belief that you are? Your choice. You get supported in what you believe to be true. It doesn't have a mind of its own. Make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Does this help?
Oh, absolutely.
Why, thank you.
So I have a question there.
Yes.
When something happens
Yes.
and my thoughts begin to discriminate how I'm going to perceive that,
Yes.
I do have choices between positive thoughts and negative thoughts, or
Absolutely.
positive.
And remember that those positive thoughts and negative thoughts are generated by positive or negative belief systems. You have to have the belief first, or you can't have the feeling, and you can't have the thought, and you can't have the behavior. So if you have a behavior, if you have a thought, if you have a feeling, you can always trace the behavior, the thought, and the feeling back to a belief that's generating them. Because if you don't have a definition of something, you don't know what to think about it. You don't know how to feel about it. If I give you a word that you have no definition for and ask you how do you feel about it, you wouldn't have a clue because you have no definition. But once you have the definition, you go, now I know how to feel about that. Now I know what to think about that. Now I know how to behave about that idea. because now you have a definition. So anytime you notice you may have a negative thought you don't prefer to have, use it as an opportunity to trace it back to what belief you must have that's generating that thought, and that will help you identify consciously the belief that may have been unconscious. And that's the whole point, because once you identify a belief that's negative, that's out of alignment with your true self, as soon as you identify it, it will automatically appear to be nonsensical and illogical, and you'll drop it. If your behavior doesn't change after dropping it, then you haven't found the core belief. You've only found a secondary belief. And that's another thing that belief systems do. They'll surround themselves with secondary beliefs to make you think, oh, yes, I found the belief and let it go. Now I'm okay. And you haven't. And you can notice that in your behavior, in the way you see things. Oh, I'm still reacting to this idea negatively. That means I haven't found the true fundamental core belief. Oh, you sneaky little tricky thing, you. You fooled me into thinking that secondary belief was you, and it wasn't. But now I found you out, because you cannot escape the fact that physical reality is a mirror and will always reflect back to me what I truly believe. So if I'm having a negative experience in some way, that means you're still lurking around. I'm going to find you. And I'm going to tell you that you can relax, that your job is done. Well done. You played a good game, but now you can relax. And I will now choose a different belief without invalidating what I don't prefer. I will keep it neutral and choose what I prefer without invalidating what I don't prefer, because everything is valid, everything is equal. It's just that you are no longer relevant for my journey. So thank you for bringing me to this point. Negative belief, I appreciate you, because without the darkness, I wouldn't have easily seen the light. So thank you for surrounding it with darkness so I can see the light more clearly. And that's how you move on. That's how you move forward. That's how you grow. Make sense?
Yes. How much effort?
Effort?
Okay.
How much effort do you want?
How much time? If I practice
Yes.
choosing positive outcomes over negative outcomes,
Yes.
do I actually have to spend a lot of time exploring the negative side, or is that if I don't choose to explore the negative thoughts, is that living in denial?
If you're not exploring them because you think you don't need to or out of fear, then yes, you could be in denial. Because why would you care what's there? Because you know you're always going to get a positive and beneficial effect from whatever you discover. So why would you need to make that differentiation? Isn't that saying that somehow I should be done with this? Isn't that a negative judgment call?
Yes.
So what do you care?
Okay.
Isn't it all exciting?
Absolutely.
Well, then who cares what it is? Remember, as we said, that's one of the tools of excitement. It reveals to you what may be within you that's not in alignment with your excitement, and that's cause for excitement. So it doesn't matter that you discover something that may be negative lurking within you, because the fact that you discovered it means you can let it go, and that's one more thing you can let go of that you do not need. Now, eventually in your lives, you may run out of negative things to let go of, and that's fine. But you will not let go of the process of letting go. What you will let go of after you run out of negative things to let go of is you will start letting go of things that are simply no longer relevant for your life, even though they might be positive. Yes?
Great. Yes, absolutely.
All right.
So let me ask you something about your society.
Yes.
In your society, did you as an individual
Yes.
have to disassociate yourself from the mass consciousness of the other people in your society? Did you have to go through that process?
In our society, the synchronicity operates at such a level that I am automatically dissociated from anything in the mass consensus that does not support my individuality, and therefore my individuality, as it is expressed, supports the mass consensus of our society that desires everyone to be the perfect individual that they are. Yes?
Yes.
That's how it works in my society. That's how it can work in your society. You're heading that way.
So we're headed that way.
If you weren't, we wouldn't be having these conversations. because we do not and cannot engage with vibratory realities that are too different from our own or not heading in the same direction. So this conversation is a positive sign. If you choose differently, you'll no longer be capable of finding us. Make sense?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Hi, Bashar.
And you good day.
Welcome. My question is in regards to the volcano eruption, the Calbuco,
Yes.
that erupted on April 22nd.
Yes.
And then the earthquake that occurred in Nepal 3
Yes.
days later.
Yes, yes, yes.
Were those two related in regards to the Earth's
Well, yes, it's all related.
chakras, or?
It's related to the electromagnetic field, the geomagnetic field of your world, and the changes that happen in that field for a variety of reasons. Sometimes the idea of a physiological seismic expression will make alterations in the field. Sometimes alterations in the field will bring about a seismic expression.
So in this recent event that took place in April, how did that affect human beings vibrationally?
Well, it depends upon the human beings.
Okay, makes sense.
I know, that's why I said it.
So will there be other changes
Of course there will.
in regards to the Earth's?
Of course there will.
Will there be any time relatively soon?
Relative is a relative term.
Within this year?
There may be, and on into the idea of your 2016, 2017, all the way up to 2020, several of these kinds of incidents.
Great. All right. Thank you so much.
But again, this is all part and parcel of shifts within your consciousness. Remember, you're not actually changing the world you're on. The changes you make within yourself shift you to another version of a parallel Earth that's already more representative of the change you made within your own state of being.
So this past June, the beginning of June, there seemed to be, I perceived a vibrational change.
Yes.
Was that just within me, or was there some vibrational change that happened within the?
Well, both.
Was
And again, that vibrational change within you shifted you to a parallel version of Earth. And remember, you are shifting through parallel versions billions of times a second. But the major changes, what you perceive as major shifts, are simply in your consciousness greater differences in the shift. You all shift at the same rate all the time, billions of times a second. When you notice the shift in a specific and relevant way, it's because the shift you've created has created a greater difference in where you shifted to than before. So you notice it. But the rate of shift never changes. Yes?
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes, it does.
So when you notice them, that's a sign that you have expanded your consciousness to be more aware of the shift you prefer, rather than simply going along again with the mass consensus shifts that look like relatively slow change. Oh, a little thing has changed, a little thing has changed, a little thing has changed, a little thing has changed. And then you can go, oh, a big thing has changed. And you can skip over some of those intermediate shifts, in a sense. Skip over what the mass consensus general average shift experience is by allowing yourself to leap ahead in a way. Make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Does this help you?
It does. Thank you.
All right. All of you, please just remember that the more you're willing to align with your true vibration now, that means the more willing you are to wake up, and then you will not necessarily need to shake yourselves awake. Yes? All right.
Greetings, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Thank you for coming to Vegas.
Well, I'm not in Vegas, but I understand the sentiment.
Is your ship
It's
still
above Sedona. Yes.
broadcasting
Yes.
in a sense.
Yes.
I have a question. It's kind of personal. I've been
Personal to you
To
or
me,
to us?
to me.
Oh, all right.
Hopefully, other people see the same thing. I don't know.
Speak up.
I've been seeing like lights in the sky. I'll see a flash and
Yes.
I'll look in that direction and
Yes, yes, yes.
stare and see if it's a plane. Sometimes it is, and
Yes.
a lot of times it's not.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, you remember that one of the symptoms of the expansion of consciousness in this age of awareness is beginning to be able to perceive energies on higher frequencies that were heretofore invisible to your senses. So this is going to be one of the common symptoms that many of you will experience as you expand your consciousness.
Okay. So that same situation actually happened in a room in my house. I was
Yes.
staring in the room,
Yes.
the darkened room, and it was a flash of light.
Yes.
It's-
Happening within the rewiring of your brain is also causing what you would call internal illuminations in your optic nerve.
okay.
Can be several different things.
Also, the sacred circuitry
Yes.
that you exercise you had, is that something you need to do once?
It's a permission slip. You decide
Okay.
how it works for you.
Awesome. I forgot what other questions I had, but
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Maybe you answered them all.
Maybe.
All right.
Thank you.
You'll find out.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
I'm Kasank, and I have a question about history and time.
Yes.
So we live in 3 dimensions
You
of
live
space
in 4
and-
dimensions.
Okay.
3 of space,
And
1 of time.
Correct.
I
So-
know, that's why I said it.
So my understanding is that the past, present, and future all exist simultaneously.
Yes.
So is the past an absolute, or is it ever changing? Is it
It's
a mass
ever-changing.
Is it a mass consensus agreement? The past,
It
or
can be,
it can be,
but it doesn't have to be.
doesn't have to be. So then my question specifically is regards to suffering with, say, for example, Jews in the Holocaust, African Americans with slavery.
Yes.
Is that a consensus agreement, or does that actually, is that an actual history, or is that an agreement?
Well, it's both. It's this and that, not this or that. Obviously, anything you can imagine is somewhere a reality because you can't imagine non-reality.
Correct. Okay.
I know. So the idea simply is, what reality are you perceiving based on the state of being you're in?
Okay, let's say, for example, that I'm a chain smoker and I'm not, and I decide to stop.
You're smoking chains.
And I decide to quit.
Yes.
So does that mean that my history changes because do I shift into a new?
It can mean that.
Okay.
You can do it that way. That's what we have referred to as the 13th step. If you can wrap your mind around the understanding that when you change yourself in any way, you actually literally are a different person. And that means if you're a different person, you have a different history. Then that means that if you actually stop, just to use your word, and find that you have no urge at all to do it, that may actually mean you've become a person who didn't stop smoking, you've become a person who never did.
Awesome. Okay.
And that's why the urge isn't there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally does. Yes.
But you have to be very aware of whether or not that's actually what you have defined yourself to be.
Okay, does that mean I'm shifting to a parallel?
Absolutely. You're shifting your focus to another parallel version of yourself in this example that never smoked.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So if that is the case,
Yes.
then the history of like Hiroshima,
Yes.
the Holocaust, the
Yes.
slavery,
Yes.
that doesn't have to exist, is what you're saying.
It all exists. It doesn't necessarily have to be part of your history experience in terms of the effects. Nevertheless, you can still be aware of those things and still do what you need to do for yourself. It doesn't always mean you have to erase certain things from the idea of your history in order to be able to move forward in the way that you prefer to. If you shift and you're still aware of those things as part of what you call your history, then it may mean that those things don't have to leave your mind. in order for you to do what you need to do. If for some reason it is absolutely relevant that those things are not a part of your history, then you would never even know they existed. If you shifted to a history where they didn't exist for you, you would also never know they ever existed as anyone's history.
Is that possible?
Yes. In fact, I'll tell you this. Many of you do this all the time. The history that you think you remember right now wasn't necessarily the history that was here a moment ago, but you'll never know that. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because you're making the new history your history, it will completely erase from your perspective any other history having happened, because it wouldn't make sense. So when you shift and you do create different histories all the time, from this perspective in physical reality, you're never going to know what history was here a moment ago. But you've had a multitude of histories you now know nothing about.
But you remember a different time stream in history. You remember a different history.
You remember a different history, and therefore you will never know what history was there before.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Makes
so
sense.
the history you remember right now is the history you're creating from the present. And a moment ago, this wasn't your history.
Oh, deep. Okay. Okay, my last question. So those...
I'll give you an example if you wish.
Sure. Yes, please.
And I'm going to come at this from a little bit from the consensus reality point of view, just because that's the subject we're on today.
Okay.
One moment. We're scanning the timelines. In 1996, or what you call or remember as 1996, you shifted your history to such a degree that the history that was different before you shifted in 1996 was different to the degree, just to give you one example, that your President Kennedy was still alive up to 1984. You understand what we're saying now?
Yeah.
Previous to 1996, or what you remember as 1996, you had a different history in which President Kennedy was alive until 1984.
Mm-hmm.
But now you don't remember that history.
Oh, okay. Deep.
You see what we're saying?
Yes, yes.
You
Definitely.
now have a history where he died in 1963.
Wow. Okay. So, with that, my final question is, those victims of these atrocities, how can they, because some people are still suffering from the Holocaust, the African Americans are suffering from police brutality.
Yes.
How do they transcend that? Is that by shifting
It
to
can
a new
always
reality?
be transcended by understanding that no matter in your world be learned, if only the lesson of learning how to ensure that they never happen again. Make more positive choices. Learn from the things you don't prefer in your society how to create a different society that you do prefer. That's how you can use these things in a positive way. Anything negative can be used in a positive way if you're willing to. And if you're willing to understand that the fact that they occurred in a negative way can be used as a lesson, if only to teach you to not do that again, if you don't prefer it.
So then can those groups then have a mass consensus to where they're in racism, sexism, and
Of course they
anti-Semitism?
can. Of course they can, because you have mini mass agreements within the overall mass agreement.
Okay,
So groups can have their own experience, as well as individuals can have their own experience within the mass consensus.
and that can shift to a different reality.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And it does all the time.
Awesome.
It's just, again, that if many of you are choosing to experience certain things because sharing that history will give you an opportunity to work with each other in a certain way and to help each other in a certain way make more positive changes, then you'll all agree to maintain that kind of common history in order to do that. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Is it your time for refreshment?
12:20? It can be, or if you want to do a question, you can. What would you prefer?
We would prefer that you go and ease your grumbling tummies.
Did you just like tap in and see how many people in the room were hungry?
Yes. How many of you are hungry? Speak up.
Yeah.
There you go. Enjoy your refreshment break. We will resume the transmission afterwards. Good day. But it'll say, let us continue with sharing. All right, thank you. Please continue. Please proceed. However you wish.
Hi, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I'm so thrilled to be here.
All right, we are thrilled that you are thrilled to be there.
First, I would like to express my infinite love and gratitude to you.
Our unconditional love to you as well.
Thank you so much. My first question is, about 20 years ago, I had an experience where I kissed a boy, and
You liked it?
very, very much so. It was
We
very
understand
memorable.
that was a popular song on your planet.
Sort of. I think there was a little difference in gender with that song.
No, all right.
Anyway, what happened is I immediately was shot through a tunnel of light,
No, all right. Quite a kiss.
blue light. Yeah. And I was just wondering
Yes.
how, if you could explain the mechanics of exactly what happened there with that one.
Sometimes in life, you will have made an agreement with someone to reflect something to you that is a reflection of your greater self. And when you make yourself available, when you open yourself up to that moment, you can really experience very quickly, very rapidly, a rush of energy that represents a much higher percentage of connection to your higher self than you are used to experiencing on a day-to-day level. In that it came that way is also a symbolic reflection and representation of the idea of loving yourself. Do you understand?
I love that idea.
All right. So you gave yourself that opportunity to experience that electrifying rush, that rush through the tunnel, which represents a shift in dimensionality very abruptly. What did you do with that from that moment forward? How did you use that experience in your life? Are the important questions. Do you have an answer for that?
I have a lot of positive flashbacks to that
Do you
moment.
have any positive flash forwards?
Absolutely.
All right.
100% yes.
All right. So,
Yes.
how did that allow you to apply the energy in your life more readily? Did it allow you to choose, or at least to recognize that that state was available to you? Or did you just kiss it off?
I definitely look at it as a pinnacle experience in my life, so I think it does allow me to tap into that.
Yes. Many times that's what peak experiences are for, again, to show you. As an example, this is a state You have within you. This is a state that is achievable by you. All you have to do is choose that state. And again, as we said, it doesn't necessarily always have to feel identical. Right. But anytime you remember that experience, you're in that state. In fact, the actual truth and trick of it is you actually have to be in the state to even remember the state from before.
Makes sense.
Marker for you.
That's a great confirmation. Thank you so much.
And again, the question is, how are you using it? How are you applying it?
I think if you're asking me to answer that question,
I
it
am.
wasn't rhetorical. It's inspiring
Yes.
because knowing that that type of euphoria and that high vibrational experience is
Yes.
available to me
Yes.
inspires me to align with it,
All
to
right, very
desire
good.
to align with it.
To desire to align with it, but do you align with it?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, all right.
I think I get pretty high.
Do you
Naturally.
use it to act more readily and more fully on your highest passions in life every moment that you can? Hesitation usually means no.
I knew you were going to say that. That's why I was hesitating. I was like, wait for it.
And
I'm definitely inspired to align with the highest vibration possible in any given moment, and I do my best.
I know you do your best.
Yes, I'm very conscious of
All right.
my vibration, and I do.
What are you doing in your life right now that excites you the most?
I've written 2 children's books.
Oh, all right. That's exciting.
I'm a numerologist.
All right. That's
I've
exciting.
Created some oracle decks.
That's exciting too.
Do a lot of wonderful
Oh,
things.
all right. And so you have given yourself the kiss of life.
Absolutely. yes. I have.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. May I ask? Oh, I'm not going to ask if I can ask another question. I know better. Thank
Yes,
you.
all right.
I have another question. I was watching an episode of Ancient Aliens last night.
Ancient aliens.
Okay, I hope I get this right, but my son is going to help me if I get it wrong, I think, or you will. We were watching about Puma Punku. Is that correct?
Puma Punku, yes.
And I was hoping that you could shed some light on who built it and what it was used for. And
A race you know nothing about.
Okay.
It was used as a landing place, a place to connect with the earth, a place to commiserate, a place to observe from, a place to coordinate from, an expedition, an exploration, a place to branch out from and explore your world.
Was it destroyed consciously, or was it a natural?
It was a series of what you would consider to be natural disasters over time.
And as far as, I'm going to get it wrong. Max, can you help me with the name of what was next with the T? Tiwanaku,
Yes.
the wall that has all the different faces of the different races.
Yes.
Is there anything you can say about?
Well,
what
again,
that
it's
was
a
supposed to
similar
represent?
idea, although some of the things that went on in Tiwanaku were also the idea of genetic alterations, hence the representation of the different species, the different races, as you call them.
I believe the local people refer to it as like the birthplace of humanity, or
One
they
of
talk about the
them.
Anunnaki.
One of them.
Okay, and
You
they
must
talk about-
understand that back in those times when there were the additions of genetic material to the natural hominid on your planet that ultimately resulted in the hybridization that created Homo sapien, as you know yourself, actually took place in many places around your planet. It didn't just happen in one place.
That makes
It
sense.
was a worldwide agenda.
Yeah, because they referred to the Sumerians and the Anunnaki being in
Yes.
2 different places.
Yes.
So those kinds of things. Okay. Well, thank you. Can I ask? Oh, never mind. Caught myself again. I was just wondering if you could share a little bit more about spontaneous healing. I know there's a shifting to the parallel reality where the body is the new body.
Yes. Well, that's all there is to it. Any healing is giving off a vibration that inspires the person to be healed to match that frequency, which is representative of their healed state. And if they choose to match that frequency, then they make a shift that heals themselves.
So, if we consciously believe that we can create, that we can shift to the body we prefer.
Yes. Then
It's
you
just
can.
a choice that we make.
Yes.
But there's beliefs that can throw that off, right? Negative.
Well,
beliefs,
there are
clearly.
beliefs that may exist that need to be there. Sometimes the things that don't happen for a positive reason too, you know.
All right.
It may be important for you to go through a particular process because you chose to. Therefore, you can't always circumvent certain things. you can only circumvent the things that are truly irrelevant for you to experience. So you can lessen the process, in a sense. You can whittle it down to the most basic processes you absolutely need in life. And therefore, once you find that something sticks around and doesn't seem to be willing to go anywhere, use it in the most positive way you can, and then it will go somewhere.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Absolutely. I just.
Hello, Bashar.
And a good day.
Good day to you too. Welcome to Vegas. You must have connected telepathically because we wanted you to come here for the longest time.
We simply allow the synchronicity to take us where we need to go.
Thank you. My first question correlates to a little bit to her
Speak up,
question.
speak up.
My first question to you correlates to the last lady's question, kind of. When somebody gets sick,
Yes,
we know the body gets sick.
yes.
The soul really never gets sick,
Not
right?
really, no.
Okay. Does that mean that the soul is saying, okay, I don't need to go to a higher frequency to heal this body. I just need to move on and get to another experience?
It depends. There are as many reasons for the idea of disease as there are people. Sometimes negative reasons, sometimes positive reasons. You have to take it on a case-by-case, person-by-person basis to understand why something like that may be being generated.
Okay. And if that person passed away
Yes.
and the soul is actually moving on,
Well, it can. It doesn't have to.
that's what I was going to ask you. Does it automatically reincarnates or goes back to the source?
Reincarnation, in a sense, is a real experience, but it's not mechanically what's actually happening. It's an illusion. Because everything exists all at once. All lives exist at once. So you can create the illusion that you are reincarnating, and you can have that experience. But if every life exists all at the same time, then you understand that all you're doing is shifting your focus to make it seem as if you were someone and now you're someone else.
Okay. And again, along with that, almost 2 years ago, my father passed away, and I was not able to comprehend. I have an idea in my head,
Yes.
thinking, is his soul remembers me as his daughter?
Of course. You don't forget things on that level.
Okay.
And the relationship is always there, but the relationship is also bigger because you have many different relationships to that particular entity, and that entity has many different relationships to you beyond the idea of father-daughter. But that's included, certainly. And the entity on that level can focus down to that idea of that relationship to relate to you, since that's the way you relate to that entity. But it goes way beyond that.
Great, thank you.
Does that help you?
Yes, very much.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
One moment. Is your birthday coming up?
Not
When is your birthday?
November 7th.
Will you be doing something special on that day?
Well, my father passed away 2 days after my birthday.
Oh, that's why we're getting the birthday. All right. So that's a message directly from the Father to recognize that the Father is hearing you, to bring up the birthday, which is, as you say, close to the actual date of death. So, in that sense, don't be sad on the birthday because He is with you. He's not missing you, haven't lost Him. He will celebrate with you. All right?
Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
So
Thanks.
happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Another question that has nothing to do with this, but are there extraterrestrial underground in our planet? And
Sometimes.
Are they a threat to us?
No. Do you want them to be?
No.
Remember that the more you allow yourself to align with fear, the more you experience your reality in a fearful way. So if you stay in the vibration that you prefer, anything that might be negatively oriented can't find you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank
That
you.
makes sense. Thank you. And one more question.
That's it. One more.
Yes. 2011, on North Carolina, on Brown Mountain, there was 27 people missing.
Yes.
Do you know anything about that?
I
Where
do.
are they?
I can't tell you that.
Why?
I'm not allowed to. Something is in process, and it's not our job to tell you what's going on with those people. But you'll find out.
Soon?
That's a relative term.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And you good day.
I'm so excited. I'm
Oh,
so
all
happy
right.
to meet you today.
And you
I wish
as
I can
well.
give you a hug.
All right. Hug received. And returned.
Thank you. I learned a lot of things from you.
All right.
I changed my life a lot.
You changed your life. We are happy to help, but you changed your life.
Thank you. I really want to know I did learn how to deal with the challenges in my life, but
Yes.
can you help me to understand the purpose of my life?
The purpose of your life is to live it. The purpose of your life is to act on your passion. The purpose of your life is to be this you, this unique expression of creation as fully as you can. Because you have never been this you before, you will never be this you again, even though you will always be you. But not in this
everything
way.
excites me.
Then act on it to the best of your ability in whatever order it presents itself to you as being capable of being acted on. Trust the synchronicity. You can't act on everything equally. Act on the things you have the greatest ability to act on first if they all seem to excite you equally. If it's not the thing you need to be doing right then, or not the thing you need to do first, then your excitement and synchronicity will show you what else you actually need to be doing at that moment. Because it's a complete kit and leaves nothing out and shows you exactly what to do in what order. Does that make sense to you? You don't always have the same ability to act on everything that excites you at the same time. Act on what you have the greatest ability to act on that excites you the most. And allow the other things that excite you to show you when they need to be acted on. The synchronicity will show you. Is this making sense to you?
Yeah.
But
I did heard that from you always, but still.
but still what?
There is something that I always feel that I'm missing something that I should do.
Really?
And
Such as what? What are you missing? You do remember what we said about the idea that you've already made all your appointments, yes?
Yes.
Well, if you know you've made all your appointments, don't you trust that they'll unfold in proper timing?
Yes, I do trust.
The only way you miss an appointment is by spending time wondering if you're going to miss an appointment. So constantly thinking that you're missing something will make you miss something. But if you stop worrying that you're going to miss something, you can't miss anything that's important for you to do. If you trust the way your life unfolds.
Yes, I do trust.
All right, well then relax.
Okay.
What's your hurry? What's your rush? You're an eternal, infinite being. Relax. You have all of eternity which never ends. No need to rush. Yes?
Yes.
Take your time, live in the present, enjoy what is, and you will be capable of accelerating your experience of what can happen in the present. But if you just relax into the understanding that your life unfolds naturally, then you will know that you'll experience everything you need to experience in this life that's relevant for you to experience by definition.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yes, that does.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Do you? And what would that be?
About my husband and my kids. I know if I face the challenges, I know that you taught me how to deal with it.
Yes.
But I still didn't get the point that how do I create the problems? I see it as a problem.
Why do you choose to see it that way? How does it serve you to see something as a problem, which by definition doesn't give you enough power to do anything about it, as opposed to a challenge which does? How does it serve you to label it in a negative way? What do you get out of doing that?
Yeah.
You get to play the victim?
Right.
Poor me?
Yes.
Do you like doing that? Do you enjoy
no.
playing the victim?
No, I don't.
Then stop and start using your power. Otherwise, if you keep
I
playing the
did
victim,
realize that I am playing the victim role since last 1-2 months.
yes.
I did realize that, but
Well, if you keep doing it, then you must believe you're getting something out of it, or you wouldn't be doing it. So, what do you think you're getting out of playing the victim? Sympathy?
yes.
You don't want
But
sympathy.
why am I getting that sympathy? Why do I need that sympathy?
You don't need it, but obviously you must believe that you do, or you wouldn't be doing that.
Why am I believing that?
You have to figure that out for yourself. But generally speaking, the reason that people believe things is because they believe that it's more beneficial than the alternative. So even though you might know that there's something more positive for you, if you're acting negatively, you have a belief somewhere that's attached to that idea that says that acting negatively is actually less scary than choosing the thing you prefer.
But I know that I.
Remember when I said that knowing and action are synonymous?
Yes.
If it's not in your behavior, you don't know it yet. You just think you do. So, if you really know something, you behave as if you know it. So, if you're acting like a victim, that's what you know. You're a victim. That's what you believe. But if you are tired of playing that role,
Yes, I am.
then stop. Choose to be empowered.
I am feeling empowered
Now-
lately. Yes.
But we're having a conversation about the times that you choose not to be, right?
Yes.
So in those times where you choose not to be, stop, take a pause, and ask yourself, what am I getting out of choosing to play the victim? And if you finally realize, I don't really prefer this, I know that I will get far more of what I prefer if I stop playing the victim and act as an empowered person, then in that moment, you will shift. And the more you do that, the more you will be in the habit of always choosing an empowered response as opposed to a disempowered reaction. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Does that help you?
Yes. Will that?
You could also just start by loving yourself more. Yes?
I thought I do love myself.
In those moments where you play the victim, do you think that that's a sign of love?
No.
Then love yourself more.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I have one question. Is there any message?
Bye-bye. If there were other messages, we would have given them to you. Let us remind all of you, because of that question, we never hold anything back. Ever. It's you that don't perceive what you're already being given. You never have to ask for more from your guides, from spirit, from source, from us, from angels, from whomever. You never have to ask for more. You are always being given everything we and they can possibly give you, because we all love you unconditionally and we hold nothing back that would serve you. The idea is that if you feel like you're not getting enough of that information, and when you ask for more, what you're actually asking for is for yourself to open up and receive more of what you're already being given, so you can perceive it more than you do. That's what you're actually doing when you ask if there's any other messages. Is there anything more you can tell me? The question comes back to you, is there anything more you could open up to about what we're already telling you? And then you'll know that you have been being given that information all along, but you have been to it. So take your fingers out of your ears and you will hear that there is a constant stream of love, energy, and information coming to you that you can use to your benefit, but it's really up to you to determine how much of it you perceive. Fair enough? All right. Next.
Good day, Bashar.
I know you. Good day.
I have a few questions.
Oh,
and
all right.
I'll discuss about things backwards.
Backward.
About a week ago, I had a dream. Oh, I'm sorry. The three tools I use in disassociation
Yes,
process
yes.
is astral projection, remote viewing, and lucid dreaming.
All right.
And
How exciting.
yes, and about a week ago, I was awoken, and that state, I saw a person putting a wooden tool in my throat.
Yes.
And it was so hard when I woke up, I felt that it might have been, well, it sounds crazy, but like,
You're talking to us
alien-
about crazy?
yeah, I'm up there.
All right.
I felt like maybe that's the first process of me accepting like an alien abduction or alien surgery.
Well, it's not the first process, but it might be one of the first times you've become aware of it, although what you experienced was still somewhat symbolic and not absolutely literal.
Okay, because about 2 months ago, I had a vision of myself
Yes.
rigid, laying on the side, and I saw a translucent being that was gray with a green core.
Yes.
And there was a narrow, almost like a real thin metal going into my heart.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm trying to confirm if that was
Yes.
real.
Yes.
Okay, because the heart condition was actually an incantation that I created for another person.
Yes.
And I had a vision of this other person that was special to me, and she had died from a cardiac arrest.
All right.
So I made an incantation, and I said, give my heart energy
Yes.
if she needs it.
Yes.
Now, in 2005, I was very sick, and I was sitting on a couch.
Yes.
Then I had the flu, and then I saw myself frozen in a chair,
Yes.
the back of me. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can't sleep, but maybe I should go over there. So I became over there, and I decided to call on the phone, and I went to the hospital, and it turned out, a viral infection of an enlarged heart.
Yes.
And
This seems to be a theme for you.
yes. So, I mean, I'm trying to confirm, did that energetic transfer take place from the incantation?
Well, in a sense, again, it is a permission slip that you use to give yourself permission to be capable of doing that.
Okay.
And it is also reflective for you that that's basically the energy center that you're dealing with primarily in this life.
Okay.
It is also representative to some degree of the connection you have with the Greys in terms of your willingness to participate in the hybridization agenda.
Yeah, okay. So that's confirmed.
Yes.
Um,
Remember that in the idea of the Greys being truly a mutated race of humans from a parallel Earth that destroyed their world,
yeah.
one of the things that they needed to do in order to create the hybridization agenda was to allow themselves to become a hive mind, and in doing so, they gave up their connection to their heart center.
Okay.
Thus, there was
The one vision of grays I did have was the face of a gray, and the impression was it was from pollution mostly that destroyed the world.
It's one way to look at it, and that was certainly part of it. But there were a number of different things that they did not pay attention to that ultimately destroyed their Earth, which is one of the reasons why we are all talking to you about the fact that many of you have been walking down the same path, and it would be perhaps a good idea not to repeat their particular path.
Yeah.
And so the focus of the Greys and our focus and many other beings' focus is to take care of your world so that you do not have the same experience that the Greys had. In a sense, even though everything exists at once and they come from what you might euphemistically call a parallel reality, in a sense, you could still say, looking at it from one timeline perspective, that they are your future coming back to warn you not to go down that path.
Okay. I talked to a parallel Bashar, and I was doing invention work with quartz and faceting of quartz.
Yes.
And I had created a modified Vogel crystal.
Yes.
One side was a conical 33 degrees,
Yes.
and the other side was a conical 51.86 degrees.
All right.
And I made that into a wireframe, a tetrahedron, and
Yes.
immersed it in water.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, I do see the bubbleization, I do see
Yes.
differences in temperature.
Yes, it's a transference of energy into the water, yes.
Okay. There was a partial Bashar channeling, well, not partial, but information about gold and
Yes.
crystal, and how gold can transmute timeless energy into the water.
Yes.
How much I did purchase some gold, hammered it out, and wrapped it around the 33-degree conical portion
Yes.
of the crystal.
Yes, but it must completely cover the crystal.
Oh, okay. So would gold foil work?
Yes.
Okay.
If it is pure enough.
Okay, like 22 karat. Okay, so it has to completely envelop the crystal.
Yes.
Okay, I'll
Because
change-
you're creating, in a sense, a transformer resonating capacitor. And therefore, it must be a layer unto itself, not just pieces here and there on the crystal.
One of the technologies I was shown a blueprint of I believe had to do with anti-gravity, what we call anti-gravity creation. It was a double.
Were any of the components in it spinning?
Actually, it was a Tesla coil, but it was on top and bottom. The coils are on top and the bottom.
Well, yes, it's similar to what we have described as the interpenetrating coils and spirals going up and down.
Yes, on the resonating chamber and then the wire, the
Yes,
coils of the
although
wires.
that's the first, very most basic form of this idea.
Yeah. The other thing was the important thing I had to remember was it was 9 degrees phase on the 4
Yes.
power coils to the coils
Yes.
for the resonation.
Yes.
I was just double checking on that.
Yes, but ultimately you will find that one of the components needs to spin.
Okay.
All right?
That would be probably the top parts.
Will that do?
Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
I know you good day.
I have a question regarding my son. He's 8 years old.
Yes.
Occasionally, he wakes up in the middle of the night with night terrors.
Yes.
And usually because he either needs to go to the bathroom or he gets too warm. They don't usually last very long, only 5 to 10 minutes. But the experience, he doesn't remember the experience in the morning.
Yes.
After he's gone through it. So he has no conscious remembrance of it. It's just his mother and I that really see the vivid nature of it. And I was wondering,
how long will he be 8? For how much longer will he be 8 years old?
He turned 8 on March 21st, so 9 months.
All right. Time for a birth. 9 months. Take the number 8, which is also your symbol for infinity.
Yes.
Have him draw it, color it in as many ways as he possibly can. Play with it, examine it, explore. The number 8, the symbol for, are indications of him actually projecting his consciousness to other dimensions to explore certain things that will prepare him for things later in life that his physical mind doesn't quite yet know how to integrate, doesn't quite yet know how to understand, doesn't quite yet know how to relate to it. But playing with the number 8 and the sign for infinity may be of some assistance to him.
Yes.
All right?
Thank you.
One moment. Is he attracted to a particular food?
Well, he likes pizza. He
More in the vegetable category. And don't say vegetable pizza.
broccoli.
Green beans at all?
Yes, green beans. That was my next choice.
All right. Snow peas, snap peas, anything like that?
Yeah, he enjoys peas, snow peas, snap peas,
All right.
edamame.
All right. Little more of those green peas, green beans may also help balance some things that are going on in his body that result from his experiences and may give him what he needs to stabilize himself a little bit more.
Okay.
All right? One moment. What form of creative expression is highest in his life at this moment?
He enjoys building.
Building what?
The last invention he made, he put strings across his room with his sister.
Yes.
And they were everywhere, connecting all different corners of the room. And he was, just alive. He has anxiety usually, but when he's doing those activities, he seems to be free of them.
Yes. Then let's have more of those, because what he's actually making is a map of a different reality. Lines of energy. Yes?
Yes.
Let's have more of that. Let's have him make some maps of where he thinks other realities are, what he thinks they look like. Let it come out more consciously, and this will balance out rather than remaining in his unconscious and subconscious mind. Yes?
Yes.
All right.
We've talked about magician's hat.
Yes.
33 degrees.
Yes. You mean wizard hat?
A wizard hat, yes.
Yes.
With a blue color.
Yes.
Would that help in this process?
Is it something he's interested in?
Yes.
Then play with it and see what happens.
All right. Thank you, Bashar.
You're welcome. What is the child's name?
His name's Tyler.
All right. All right. That's for us to know and you to figure out.
All right.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
It's wonderful to see you again.
Well, all right, you're not seeing me, but go ahead.
Yes. A brief question. Could that last moment in interaction be in response to Anara?
No.
Okay. I have a question. In the past, you've shared concepts of the prime radian theory as well as the
Well, it's not a theory to us.
Okay.
But we understand it may seem like one to you.
I understand it from your perspective more and more.
All right.
The Planck time constant as well being the tick of the clock
Yes.
in which a parallel reality is expressed and experienced.
Yes.
Is the prime radian theory, is that particle moving and creating the geometries and intersections to build a three-dimensional reality that is completely new every tick of that clock?
Yes. But it's doing so at infinite speed, therefore they all exist at once.
Okay.
Although, remember that when we use this language, it's a euphemism because nothing's really moving at all.
Absolutely. It's a frozen crystal. So that pathway of the prime radian includes past, present, future, mass consciousness,
everything,
dreaming,
everything.
When you communicate that an individual can shift the mass consensus reality, it is due to the prime radian pathway being defined by that individual's vibration and belief systems. Okay. I think I wrote some other stuff down, hopefully. I'm also very
slow at asking questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so a few trillion parallel realities. I'll get one out.
Oh, all right.
Children is something that, as I experience it, is absolutely exciting and thrilling. And you've discussed in the past with me the sixth generation of hybrid children having...
The sixth hybrid race.
Sixth hybrid race, okay.
Yes.
Having environments created and built such that they can more gracefully assimilate into our culture.
Those that will come will require such sanctuaries for a while in order to acclimate to your reality more easily and for your reality to acclimate to them more easily.
Wonderful.
This will be part and parcel of the idea of contact eventually. That you will absorb them into your society, they will absorb you into their society, and eventually you will become one society. that will ultimately express itself as the sixth hybrid race.
Thank you.
Anything else?
When you were discussing recently the infinity symbol,
Yes.
and having that help integrating a physical experience into
For this individual we were discussing.
Now, one of my interests in children and helping this assimilation process is also correlative to the autistic perspective in our reality.
The symbol can be, in some cases, effective for autism as well and other brain anomalies to help the hemispheres communicate and coordinate between each other more effectively. By some individuals experiencing the idea of doing this and having their eyes actually watch the creation of the infinity symbol, it will actually, I'll leave that up to your imagination on a case-by-case basis as to what seems appropriate for the individual you may be interacting with.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I'm very interested in hypersapiens, as we've discussed.
Yes.
You recommended I go to Shasta, and that is
Yes.
still
Pending?
Yeah, my intention, absolutely.
All right.
In thinking about that experience, I've noticed an increase in symbols or synchronicity regarding reptiles, specifically cockroaches.
Cockroach is not a reptile.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So cockroaches, scratch reptiles.
All right.
What I am interested in learning more about the symbol and or imagery of cockroaches and what that is clarifying in my relationships to other societies.
In fact, what you're actually interested in exploring and examining more deeply is the symbol of the praying mantis.
Thank you.
Go look for that and see what happens.
Okay, deal.
All right. Thank you
very much.
Hello, Bashar.
Andy, you good day.
Okay, I have two questions.
Speak up.
I have two questions.
Yes.
The first is, I channel this language. I kind of wanted to know where it came from.
What language?
Ore masakatoromeki kontoane. Do you need more?
No. You are connecting and actually mixing a couple of different dialects from some ancient times.
Okay.
How does this vibration help you now? What does it get you to focus on?
It helps me channel information.
In ways that others will understand? Or do they need to understand the language?
I don't know.
You don't? Well, how would you prefer it to be?
Wait, I'm not really sure what you're asking me.
In other words, when you channel those particular sounds that no one on your planet will understand but you, then does that switch to a form of communication that most people on your planet will understand when you bring the information through?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, all right. So that primes you.
Yes.
It primes you by connecting you to the vibration that you've chosen to be connected to that represents another life of mastery, another life of understanding higher frequencies in a kind of priesthood way. And by making that connection first, it primes you to get into the appropriate state to bring through the other information that the others need.
Absolutely. And about the mastery or the priesthood, my experience in this lifetime is turning into a reflection of the Christ consciousness.
Well, that's the idea really behind what you euphemistically refer to as the second coming, is that the idea of the Christ consciousness or the Buddha nature or the Krishna spirit opens up within each of you. Because that's actually what Jesus was telling you. You're all Christs.
Right. So
Jesus Christ, wake up.
But my question is
Yes.
really, I'm having this experience in which my world is reflecting to me these things. And
What are these things?
as myself being Christ
All
consciousness
right.
or all.
Yes. And so, what are you doing with that?
Well, that's the thing. I have been having these experiences, and now this opportunity is open up for me to begin to
Yes.
reveal myself.
And
in
so,
this
is there
place.
any hesitation in doing so?
Yes, it excites me, but
But
now
you're
I'm-
afraid of something.
Yeah, I'm afraid, but I don't know what it is. Or well, it's
You don't know
persecution.
what is.
It's persecution.
All right. Well, why are you worried about that? Obviously, Jesus
it scares
wasn't.
me. I know.
You feel you're going to get nailed to a cross?
Metaphorically, yes.
So what? What do you care about what people say who aren't aligned with your vibration anyway? What have they got to do with you?
Well, it's not necessarily like other people, but my family. I don't really want to be.
Your family is other people.
Well, yeah. I mean, in the sense.
So
of
do you
my
think
mother.
you are honoring your family by being something other than your true self? Whether they agree with it or not, whether they understand it or not, isn't being your true self the way to honor people that you love and let them know who they actually are in a relationship with? Otherwise, they're in a relationship with someone that you're not. Isn't that sort of false?
Yes.
So be yourself, and you give them an opportunity to learn who you really are. They may choose not to associate with you. They may choose to persecute you, if you wish to use that word. But so what? You are still giving them an option that otherwise they don't have, and that's the most loving thing you can do. And the most loving thing you can do is allow them to choose what it is they prefer to be, even if it's in direct opposition to what you prefer to be. Because if you're not willing to allow them to choose something that they prefer, why should they allow you to choose something you prefer?
Right.
Making
Thank you.
sense?
Yeah.
So, you're also keeping away from the world a gift that you could be sharing with them. So what about all the people that are waiting for information you have to share with them? Are you going to keep them hanging just because you're afraid of what your family's going to say? Be yourself, or be someone that someone else thinks you ought to be? Choice is yours.
I know.
Make a decision, and then act accordingly, and don't look back.
Thank you.
All right? Remember what happened when someone looked back?
Yep.
All right.
You sank.
So please don't make an ash out of yourself.
Thank you.
Greetings, Bashar.
And a good day.
My name is George, and I'm very pleased to be here with you.
All right, we thank you for the interaction.
I've been following you for many years already, and
You've
this is
been
the first
following
time.
me.
I've been watching your
all right.
videos on YouTube for many years, and
Yes, yes,
this is
yes.
the first time I come here.
Well, we've been watching your world for many years as well. Most entertaining.
Well, thank you for keeping an eye on us also.
Absolutely. After all, your family.
We're fun.
What would you like to discuss?
I saw a video about a year ago, and you were saying that there were already contacts between extraterrestrials and humans. I guess they were preparing us for the contacts, but they were on the personal basis.
Yes, at first.
So one of the things that caught my attention is that as soon as the human turn the other way, they will forget right away.
Yes.
Why is memory so fragile in human people?
It's not that it's fragile. It's being induced that way on purpose. Because the rate at which you choose to remember on your own acts as a barometer and a measurement for us to let us know when you're ready for more conscious contact. This is being done on purpose that you forget.
Well, in my personal case, it seemed like I've been working to be on the now, most of the time.
Working to be in the now,
Yes.
that's not what you need to work at. You have to work to not be in the now. Being in the now is just a matter of relaxing into your true self. You don't have to work at it.
Okay.
You just have to allow it.
But it seems like when I'm in the now,
Yes.
I get to forget a lot of stuff that I used to.
That's fine. Remember, we have said we have no memory at all. But we know that we will know what we need to know when we need to know it. Because we're living in the now. And therefore, in whatever the now is, that now will contain all the information we need to experience that now as fully as it needs to be experienced. We don't have to rely on memory. Because we're constantly shifting. We're constantly new people. We constantly have new histories anyway. So what is it you're attempting to remember if you're constantly changing your history?
Well, you already answered my question because my next question was going to be, can you give me a tool so I can remember it? But now I have to remember because whenever I need, whatever the need, it will come to me.
Yes.
And another question I have,
Therefore, we do not need an arbitrary medium of exchange.
okay, do you have any messages from my higher self?
I already told all of you that if we did, we would tell you.
Good enough.
These are messages from your higher self right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Hi, I have a question for you. Oh my God, I'm really nervous.
You are excited?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
I have a lot of emotions going on right now. Okay.
Calm down. Take a breath. Take a breath.
When I was 5 years old, I was sleeping with my grandma, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I saw a woman. She looked human. She had very short hair, and she was wearing like a suit or long sleeve and pants.
Yes.
I also remember seeing a light, and I see a reflection on her head and in her shoulders. I couldn't see her face. My question is, was that an alien, or was that me visiting myself from
Both.
another reality?
Both. Because in that other reality, that version of you is an extraterrestrial.
Because when my grandma turned on the light, she disappeared.
Yes, I understand.
Yes. Also, on 2010, I woke up paralyzed in my house.
This is again typical.
Okay.
The idea of the paralysis can happen for a few different reasons, but primarily it happens because you are being shifted to another reality. And therefore, it's simply that you're not operating under the normal physical parameters, and therefore you don't know how to move in the new reality yet.
Right. And I heard voices,
Yes.
and they didn't sound human. So was that abducted, or did
If
something
you want to
happen?
use that term, yes, you were shifted to another dimensional plane and had interactions with other beings, yes.
Were they aware of me being aware of them?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they did it on purpose. They wanted me to be aware of them.
Absolutely. Because that's what you requested.
All right.
Even though you don't remember that.
Okay. I'm gonna ask a really stupid, dumb question, but
There is no stupid, dumb question.
Okay. Is Barack Obama and Osama bin Laden the same person?
Say that again.
Is Barack Obama and Osama bin Laden the same person? I watched this video and it almost convinced me, and now I'm really curious.
No.
Oh, okay. Good thing to know. Okay, thanks. That's all.
All right. Thank you. I know that most of you are thinking, yeah, that was pretty stupid. But that's all right because it opens a door to something else altogether that will come in some of our future transmissions. So nothing goes to waste with us.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. And
I'm
thank
always
you all
making
for
sure
sharing.
that you're all awake.
And thank you all for sharing. I've learned so much.
It is our pleasure to reflect back to all of you what you already know but have forgotten.
Yes, yes. I want to know if I'm on the right path, you know.
Are you acting on your highest excitement to the best of your ability with no insistence on a particular outcome, yes or no?
I do.
Then that's it. You're on the right path.
Okay.
You're aligned with the path that you are. Please do understand that from another perspective, a path is not something that you're on. A path is what you are. You can't be off yourself.
Okay. Definitely.
So the question is, are you being yourself as fully as you can? And if the answer is yes, then you are expressing the path you are in the most aligned way.
I feel that.
You can't really be off your path, but you can certainly express your path in a misaligned way, an unaligned way.
I have some. Thank you.
Yes.
I have some questions in regards to like racism.
Yes.
I'm a therapist, a mental health therapist.
Oh, all right.
And I've been trying to heal myself as well as some other individuals. And one of the theories or philosophies I've kind of moved towards is that in order for me to really truly work on ending the racism, is to not see myself as a black man, an African American male, but as a human being, as a spirit, as a loving being. And I feel like if we can start moving and getting rid of it, removing ourselves from identifying with race, we can really begin to transform and begin to heal. Thank you. So,
and by the way, you all are everything.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
Therefore, every expression is still a reflection of you, no matter what or how it's expressed. And B, even physiologically, there really isn't any such thing on your planet anymore as a pure race.
Yes.
And besides which, you're all hybridized anyway.
Definitely.
With extraterrestrial DNA. So you all have that in common.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I feel like anything, like a lot of the religions, and I feel like anything that is separating us is not of...
Well, it's the negative energy. It's the negative mechanical energy. Negative energy segregates, disconnects, separates, spirals downward. Positive energy integrates, expands, spirals upward. So it's just a question of which direction do you prefer?
Yeah, as a clinician, when I'm talking to other clinicians and they're really accepting of culture and race, it's really kind of difficult because I kind of feel like I'm alone in that belief system.
Well, you're not.
We have to...
You're not alone.
Well, thank you, Bashar.
Well, you have a room full of people that are also with you here.
Yes. I love you all as well. So, that was for me. I have 2 daughters and a father that I'm struggling with. So I just want
that you're having a challenge with.
I'm having a.
You don't have to struggle.
Yeah, definitely.
Remember, there are no inherently difficult situations, only definitions that make them seem so. So you want to remove the struggle, change your definitions of your relationship to the circumstance.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yes, when it comes, I have a 7-year-old daughter, Hannah, and she tends to grind. She chooses to grind her teeth in her sleep,
All right.
And she seems to be really anxious at times.
Yes.
I wanted to know what is it that I can do as a father to kind of help her through that process.
Do you tell bedtime stories?
No.
Why not?
Not often, no.
Well, maybe you need to tell some more. Some more stories about the idea of what kind of realities there could be. Get her to exercise her imagination a little bit more about what the possibilities could be for her, what kind of reality she could be experiencing on the earth in the years to come.
Okay.
Get her to focus on the things that excite her.
Definitely. And
get her to exercise her imagination. Get her to relax into her truth. And then she'll relax everything else.
And I have a 9-year-old, Helena.
Yes.
And with her, she just recently had a really bad spider bite.
Oh, all right.
2 days
How
ago.
exciting.
Yes. And, I struggle with...
You struggle a lot, it seems.
I'm challenged with using antibiotics, and I'm trying to find a way to really, I've used some...
Echinacea in the system in large amounts will completely obliterate poisons.
Okay, I've definitely given her the echinacea and vitamin C.
All right.
So thank you so much. And with my father, I love him, but I feel like he projects a lot of his negative energy onto me.
All right, but again, you only experience what you choose to accept as true for you. So what difference does it make what anyone projects if you don't accept it? You won't feel it. You will simply have the compassion to recognize them, that they are going through their own challenges and may have been brought up with definitions that are out of alignment with their truth. And you can see them through those compassionate eyes and do not have to experience the same idea, because if you choose to accept that negative vibration from them, then all you're doing is compounding the same negative energy you say you don't prefer. So you're just reflecting back to them what they're already giving to you. Why do that?
Definitely. I'm learning.
I know you're learning, but you can choose to understand that no matter what anyone says to you, what they're basically telling you is their truth, what they're experiencing. It's just that they're projecting it on someone else because they're afraid to look at it within themselves. You should know that.
Yes, and when
So what's it got to do with you? Be an example to them of what they could be, and at least you give them a chance to change. Be affected by it negatively, and all you're doing is reinforcing where they're already at, and that doesn't give them any chance at all. Yes?
That's definitely...
All right, so come on.
And when I
stand up straight.
When I try to ignore him...
I beg your pardon?
Well, when I try to
I beg your pardon? When you try to ignore, I'm not telling you to try anything, and I'm not telling you to ignore him.
Okay.
I'm telling you to observe neutrally that he is experiencing something that is not your preference to experience. Okay. Period.
Okay, I have it.
You don't have to try to ignore him. Completely and absolutely recognize him for what he's doing, but that has nothing to do with what you need to experience. So don't experience it.
All right. Well, thank you, Bashar.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate you.
And you as well.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
We have about 30 minutes left, and we already have 2 people that will be coming and asking a question. So,
all right.
How many more questioners should I pick?
That many.
That would be like 22, the way it sounded in my ear. Are you having a challenge back there, Gary? No?
Wasn't him.
Ooh.
You may pick 2 more.
2 more. Patty Abram. Patty, do you want to ask a question? Okay. And Diana Gaddis. There she is. Okay, great. So, come on up.
Hello, Bashar.
Hello, you good day.
I work in a health food store.
All right.
And one day it was kind of slow, so I was in the back watching a YouTube video.
Yes.
And it was an elderly scientist relating his experiences at Area 51.
Yes.
And his job was to reverse engineer parts of UFOs.
Yes.
And he said that he found that they operated by anti-gravity and that...
Some of them, yes. Not all of them. There are different technologies for different craft.
And he found an element, germanium, was
Yes.
used. And I thought to myself, wow, that's kind of interesting because we sell germanium, but the last time I had ordered it was 15 years ago. And I thought, well, that's kind of neat. Well, at that moment, the doorbell rang. I stopped the video. I walk out, and a tall, thin, young guy walks in real fast and says, "Do you have any germanium in the store?"
Yes.
And I said, I laughed. I said, "Well, no, but I can order it for you." And he says, "No, thank you." And he turned around and walked out
Yes.
real fast.
You have increased the amount of synchronicity in your life. Anytime you expand your consciousness, you will see an upsurge of synchronicity as one of the side effects that lets you know you're in proper alignment with yourself at that moment as a marker.
Yeah. And I was wondering, was he an alien?
I know you were going to ask that. Let's just say he was willing to be a mirror and has very strong connections to other places, hence his willingness to flow in your synchronicity at that moment. Okay. It's not exactly what you think, but it's something we haven't discussed yet. There are different kinds of groups of beings on your planet that are willing to provide services of certain types. You don't know much about them, and we'll talk about them someday, okay. But you just encountered one.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And I was wondering, too, I love cats, and I love the felines. Is there a race of, quote, cat people that sent their DNA here for the felines?
No, not exactly like that. We are aware of the fact that there are races that might have some similar features to what you would recognize as feline-type features, but they're not really cats, and they don't really have a direct connection to your cats genetically, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And are cats on a, can they...
They can see into other dimensions quite readily.
Okay.
Haven't you noticed that?
Yes, I have.
All right. Well, they're good reflections about what's going on around you that you could tune your senses to and begin to perceive what they're perceiving by making a link to their consciousness.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yes. Remember, now we don't mean this derogatorily. Animals are smarter than you.
Mm-hmm. I believe that. I do.
Because they're focused in just being that. They're specialists. And therefore their intelligence at specializing is exceedingly high. Whereas you are generalists. Mm-hmm. You understand? Yeah. So they function as reflections to you of different parts within your generalized consciousness. Mm-hmm. So cats can represent perception of higher frequency domains, beings, and so forth, doorways into other dimensions that you all have the natural ability to do, but the cats can help refine it for you. Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Well, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Shibai.
And to you, good day. Shibai.
I have question about some people think about uterus is connecting to universe. So some women in Japan, they put crystals in their vagina. Does it work?
You remember what we said about permission slips? It isn't a necessary practice, but if they believe it works for them, it's up to them to create an idea that they believe will allow them to give themselves more permission to be more of who they are.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
All right.
And is it true uterus makes some electronic?
Electronic?
Yes.
Are you sure that's the word you wish to use? There is a flow of energy through the uterus, of course, okay. But it's not what you would typically refer to as electronic.
Okay. Maybe it means energy.
Well, yes, energy, of course. Energy flows through all your organs. Everything in you is made of energy. Okay. And different things can symbolize different frequencies, different resonant patterns that represent connections to different ideas within creation, within the universe, yes.
Okay, thank you. And I have another question.
Yes.
lately I don't get frustrated or angry so easy, but lately I was really frustrated about like too much mom's boy.
Too much
Like mama's boy?
mama's boy.
Mama's boy.
With someone you have a relationship with?
Yes.
And so, what do you want to do about that? What kind of conversation do you feel you need to have with that person?
Whenever I felt about, I told him everything, but.
And what happened?
And I tried to find my belief system.
Yes.
And I thought too much. Everybody respect mom. We love mom, but too much is. I feel like it's too much.
All right. Are you saying that this person is vibrationally incompatible with the kind of relationships you prefer to have?
A little bit.
Then why are you having a relationship with them?
Right. I was thinking about that.
Well, if you have determined that you're not vibrationally compatible, then move on.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Forward into those desires.
Oh, all right.
Picked up learning how to create herbs, grow herbs,
all right.
and use them for those intended.
That's exciting.
And I also have a struggle.
You do?
Yes.
Why?
Because I have family that is around that doesn't understand.
Oh, family again.
Yes.
They don't understand me.
And so it seems like I get a lot of flack and
Flack.
And
Do you have a flak jacket?
and a lot of negative energies that kind of keeps me.
No, don't go there.
Okay.
You know better than that. It doesn't keep you anything. You choose.
I choose it.
So why choose it? What excuses and reasons do you give yourself to lower yourself to that vibration when you know you don't prefer to exist in that state of being?
Just to have the courage to stand up and let my light show, or
Yes.
I guess that's the answer to it.
Well, again, it's simply a matter of making a choice of what you prefer and knowing that making the choice to be yourself, whether they know it or not, is actually what helps them best. They don't have to know that. They don't have to see that. You know it. So stay in a positive vibration to give them the assistance and the opportunity that they need, because you know better. Do you understand?
Right, right.
You don't have to succumb to the vibration that you don't prefer that they may give to you.
Okay.
Just look at it as an offering. We offer you the chance to lower your energy. No, thank you. I love you. That's a lovely gift. No, thank you.
Okay. So,
Keep it simple. You don't have to make such a melodrama out of this.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. They don't have to believe as you do. You don't have to believe as they do. They give you flack. Again, understand that you're acting in a way that reminds them of things they don't prefer about themselves. That's why you get the flack, because they resent being shown what they're afraid to look at.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
But that's actually the best way to help them, whether they know it or not.
And by doing that, I can raise my level
Of
higher and
course.
higher.
Of course.
Yes.
Why not? What stops you? Nothing. Nothing but you stops you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Does that help you?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Hi, Tadeo.
Nania,
It's me again.
did we go through all the questioners?
Was there one last questioner? Yeah. We did, because I'm the last person
Oh, all right.
to ask you a question that came from our Ustream listeners.
All right.
Okay.
You stream, we stream.
We all scream for ice cream. Okay. Okay. The question is,
Yes.
what is the idea behind the mass agreement that is pretty much in all human cultures where women are held to be inferior and treated badly?
Well, it wasn't always that way, you know.
Yes, I do.
All right.
But maybe everybody else. I don't know.
So obviously that comes from fear. Yes?
Yes.
It comes from sensing the power, but not believing that that power exists within the self. It comes from the idea of separation and not understanding that each contains both in ways and proportions that are appropriate to each. It comes from the denial of that energy within the self from the male perspective, and therefore the fear of that energy when they perceive it within themselves. And thus, again, the projection onto someone that reminds them of what they're afraid to look at within themselves. Therefore, they do everything in their power to push that down by projecting it on others who represent that. Make sense?
Are you kind of saying that the reason that men look down on women is because
they're
reminds
afraid of
them-
their own femininity because they have been taught to believe that that equals weakness instead of strength. But when they start to understand that the balance of the male and the female is true strength, they will not be afraid of the polarities within themselves, and they will not need to diminish what represents to them what they're afraid to look at within themselves. Yes?
Yeah, so you've explained to us that all things, including like hormonal levels,
Yes.
In our projections of consciousness, they're symbols that represent fundamental beliefs.
Yes.
And also, I would imagine it's some sort of experience that an individual is wanting to have, or a group of individuals in the
Yes,
form of males.
But now in this transformational age, the overall idea is to balance all that out.
Right. So if our race of males is imbued with very intense testosterone that perhaps leads to behavior like war,
Yes.
where it's thrilling
Yes.
to go into battle.
Well, when they deny themselves the opportunity to express themselves fully in their passion, then they have to find their thrills somewhere. And they're going to find their thrills in things that are representative of their disconnection from themselves.
So you're basically saying that as males start to really follow their passion and express themselves in more creative ways because they've already done war for so long
Yes.
that they're kind of tired of it, and realize that they can get the same
Yes.
rush
Yes.
from doing what's really exciting and passionate
And
for
in
them.
balance with those energies, yes. Bringing out their creative side, their nurturing side in a more balanced way will allow them not to need to carry the idea of self-annihilation because they fear themselves and hate themselves so much that they carry around a death wish and thus project that death wish on others. You understand?
I'm actually trying to absorb that, but you're saying that any male that is
War is a
excited-
death wish.
So
What they're saying is, if I don't learn to live in the moment by putting myself in harm's way and learning from that, the only other alternative is to die, is to take myself out.
And I know that, because we're very patriotic, and we certainly want to support the people who are over there giving their lives for causes
You
that
can
are
do
very
that.
important to us.
You can
So
do that, but at the same time, you can also teach them that it can be done in more positive ways. So they don't have to annihilate themselves in order to support that position, which actually only increases more and more of the position that requires more annihilation.
So the fact that our society at this point, when we're threatened by very real threats such as terrorism,
Yes.
and there's individuals who feel that they
Yes.
need to be there
But
to
you also have
protect
to
us.
take responsibility for your part in co-creating it, because it doesn't exist in a vacuum.
So basically what you're saying is that this level the reality that we've created
Yes.
may require people to behave in that way, but they can transmute that energy
Yes.
simply by
becoming sane. Because what you're experiencing is a reflection of your insanity.
as a populace.
Yes. You are insane.
And so we're seeing, I mean, most of us are pretty distressed by the suffering and
Yes, because
the
you are becoming
killing.
sane. And as you become more sane, you will realize that you are waking up from the insanity and allowing yourself to discover new, more imaginative and creative ways that you can accomplish what needs to be accomplished and balance out the relationships in the world. But first, you have to balance out the relationships within yourselves. As long as you exist in cultures that fear the relationships within themselves of all the different energies that each individual contains, the longer you will continue to fear what you see in others that are reflective of those relationships you're afraid to look at within yourself. And it will escalate and escalate and escalate until it's no longer even recognizable as the original idea. And it simply becomes an exercise in perpetuating insanity because you have gone insane and don't know how to get out of it.
So really, when you think about it, at this stage in our development, while this is part of our reality, there are those individuals who are, in a sense, very brave and being willing to reflect this to
Yes.
us and to show us that we need to make new choices
Yes.
about
Of them, but encourage them to understand and encourage yourselves to understand that they are giving you an opportunity to change things in a different way so they don't have to sacrifice themselves on that altar anymore.
And this is something as a collective populace that we need to.
These
or
are the
consciousness.
last remnants of the whole idea of sacrifice.
I was thinking about, like, you have your generals and the people who are telling people that they need to fight here or do this or do that. And then you have the people who are willing to do that and
Yes.
who are willing to support that,
Yes.
each for their own individual
Of
reasons,
course.
but many primarily because they really love our country and they want
That's
to.
understandable, but again, the love can be expressed in a way that's far more constructive for your country and your world.
So it's up to us to.
Well, who else? It's your planet.
Right. And that comes naturally with people following their excitement. They will
Absolutely.
start to recognize other
Yes.
alternatives
Yes.
for the behavior that we're
Yes.
at this point having to
Yes,
exhibit.
because again, remember, you cannot perceive what you're not the vibration of first. But when you get into that state of being, of balance, then suddenly you are filled with inspirations and imaginations for alternative routes that you could never see before because you are not operating on that vibratory level.
And in that way, actually, by understanding these principles and learning and choosing to follow our highest excitement, deal with the negative energies that are coming up or whatever's out of alignment.
Yes.
Ultimately, as a population, we will just start changing our behavior and start experiencing
Yes.
a new version of Earth that doesn't require
Why do you
this.
think that there is so much being presented to all of you now about the concept of what gender is all about? Yes?
Yes.
You're being given an opportunity to understand yourselves from a higher point of view, that all of you contain all expressions of gender, all expressions of race. You are spirits that contain all these things, and there are brave souls who are willing to express these things in specific ways so that you get an opportunity to see that this is what you need to look at within yourself and be okay with the fact that you all contain all of these expressions and that they're all powerful and that they're all representative of creation. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, the more you understand it and the more you act like you understand it, the less you will need to act out in ways that are self-destructive. Because you will start really loving all aspects of yourself and won't feel like you have to destroy any of those aspects because you're so terrified of looking within yourself to discover them because you think that somehow discovering those things make you less than, instead of understanding that discovering them makes you more than.
I remember you once said that when we balance out the male and female energy in our society, that's when we will experience much of the kinds of challenges we're experiencing now being resolved.
Yes.
And that's because we've had both patriarchal societies and matriarchal societies, right?
Yes.
We've had a pendulum that's gone back and forth with that.
But now you can have, if you wish, a balanced society that expresses itself in a multitude of ways that are all equally valid.
And I'm realizing as I'm standing here that I really feel grateful to every person that's in my reality and this global reality that's willing to take on this challenge. I know that a lot of people sacrifice themselves in a way.
Yes, but this is why we say that you are not a kindergarten class. You're a master graduating class.
Yeah, because
it takes a strong soul to experience going through the idea of transforming darkness into light to this degree. So congratulations to you all for being where it's all happening, for choosing to be at this exciting time, this transformative time, this time when you get to really explore and experience revealing to yourselves who you are as individuals and what kind of mass consensus you really prefer to have by changing yourselves as individuals and acting as the examples to the mass consensus for what kind of shift is possible and what kind of world you could be experiencing. Please take a short break. We will resume this transmission with your holotope experience and help crystallize and lock in the idea of your relationship to the mass agreement as it stands within your individuality. Take a short break.
Thank you, Bashar. Okay, so this is the part where we have the holotope. So we're going to take about a 15-minute break while we set up, and then we'll reconvene and take the next leg of our journey.
All right, we will continue the transmission by asking each and every one of you to let yourselves become relaxed. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And take another deep breath in and let it out. And one more time, take a deep breath in and hold it and hold it and hold it and blow it out. And continue to breathe deeply, evenly, in a relaxed manner, letting your bodies relax, letting your mind relax, letting your soul relax, letting everything that you think you know of yourself relax and melt away, and just feel your being. And as you begin to do this, keep your eyes open and fixed on the center of the holotope as you lower your lights and bring up your music and begin to drift into a dream. And allow yourself to look at the center, look at yourself, the center of your being, represented by the center of this image that glows before you. And as you continue to breathe, and as you continue to relax, and as you continue to let go of all those things that you know do not serve you, all the ideas, the definitions, the beliefs, the thoughts, the feelings, the behaviors, just let them go for now. Be in the moment, just be here, just be now. Let the vibrations of the colors flow through your eyes, into your bodies, along all of your nerves, wash over your skin, and let the vibrations of the colors in. Allow yourself to view the entire holotope as the mass agreement, the mass consensus reality. All the parameters, all in this physical dream. And even as you take in the entirety of the holotope as it represents the mass agreement of which you are a part, that you have agreed to be a part of, simultaneously allow your eye to drift to one specific portion that stands out to you. One specific detail, be it a line, a color, a flicker of light, a shape, doesn't matter. But this one specific detail that stands out in the midst of the entire holotope is your individual reflection that shows you that you fit within the whole picture, yet at the same time, you stand out as unique, even as forms the whole picture. And without you, without that unique portion, without that detail, the picture would not be complete. You must exist for the whole picture to exist. You are valued and valuable. So value yourselves as you look upon this entire image and the mass consensus it represents. Value the single component, the single detail that is representative of you and your individual uniqueness, and the gift that you give to all other aspects by finding your place, by finding your position, by expressing your true nature in life, so it can add to the totality of the greater being that is also you. For the whole is also you. You are the whole. You are the parts. You are all that is within this.